Welcome back, American Coin Hunter. Today, we are going deep into one of the most misunderstood and secretly fascinating modern American coins ever produced, the United States 1-cent coin dated 2015, a penny that millions of people have spent without a second thought, dropped into tip jars, lost between sofa cushions, or ignored in dusty drawers. Yet behind this ordinary appearance lies a complex story of design, history, minting technology, rare mint errors, collector demand, and shocking valuation rumors that have captured the attention of coin hunters, investors, and numismatists around the world, including claims that certain error examples connected to the 2015 1-cent coin could theoretically reach values discussed in the hundreds of millions of dollars when tied to unique circumstances, provenance, and extreme rarity, making this penny a symbol of how even modern coins can carry extraordinary intrigue. The 2015 1-cent coin belongs to the Lincoln Cent series, one of the longest-running and most iconic coin designs in United States history. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and by 2015 the design had already evolved through several major changes while still maintaining its historical soul, with Abraham Lincoln's portrait remaining a constant symbol of unity, resilience, and American identity. Even as metal compositions, minting techniques, and reverse designs shifted over time in response to economics, politics, and technology. Physically, the 2015 1-cent coin weighs approximately 2.5 grams, a standard weight introduced in 1982 when the United States Mint transitioned from mostly copper cents to copper-plated zinc coins. And this weight is critical when identifying errors because even a small deviation can signal a wrong planchet strike, missing plating, or improper alloy mixture, all of which dramatically affect collector value, with some error coins weighing more or less than expected and immediately raising red flags for experienced numismatists. The coin's diameter is about 19.05 millimeters, with a plain edge, and its composition is officially listed as 97.5% zinc, with a thin 2.5% copper plating. But within that thin layer lies the potential for dramatic errors such as exposed zinc cores, blistered surfaces, peeling copper layers, and chemical reactions that can transform the coin's appearance into something almost unrecognizable compared to a normal penny. And these visual anomalies are often the first sign that a coin might be worth far more than 1 cent. The coin symbol associated with the cent is the familiar cent sign, a symbol that once held immense purchasing power in American society. And while inflation has reduced the cent's buying power over time, the symbolic value of the penny remains powerful, especially in numismatic circles where rarity, condition, and error significance can elevate a single cent to a value exceeding luxury cars, houses, and in some extreme theoretical discussions, even corporate assets. On the obverse of the 2015 1-cent coin, we see Abraham Lincoln's right-facing portrait, a design originally created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB appear subtly on the coin, representing a legacy of artistic craftsmanship that continues to this day. And by 2015, the portrait had been refined through modern engraving techniques, resulting in sharper details around Lincoln's hair, coat, and facial features. Details that become crucial when identifying double dyes, dye deterioration, and strike anomalies. The reverse of the 2015 penny features the Union Shield design, introduced in 2010, symbolizing Lincoln's role in preserving the United States as a single nation, with 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies bound together by a horizontal banner inscribed with the words 1 cent, and above it the phrase United States of America, while E pluribus unum arches across the top, a Latin phrase meaning out of many, one, a motto that resonates deeply with collectors who see coins as historical documents frozen in metal. The Union Shield reverse is especially important for error detection because its straight lines and geometric symmetry make doubling, misalignment, die cracks, and off-center strikes much easier to identify compared to older, more organic designs. And the 2015 production year saw extremely high mintages across the Philadelphia and Denver mints, which paradoxically increases the likelihood of errors slipping through quality control due to the sheer volume of coins produced. Philadelphia minted 2015 pennies do not carry a mint mark, while Denver minted examples display a small D beneath the date, and while San Francisco also struck proof versions primarily for collectors. It is the business strike coins from Philadelphia and Denver that generate the most excitement in the error coin market because they were intended for circulation, where mistakes are more likely to occur unnoticed. As we continue deeper into the story of the 2015 1-cent coin, it becomes clear that what truly separates an ordinary modern penny from a legendary collectible is not just the presence of an error, but the context in which that error exists, the timing of its discovery, and the way the collector market reacts to it. Because coins do not gain value in isolation, they gain value through human attention, competition, belief, and documentation, and the 2015 penny sits at a fascinating crossroads of modern minting technology and old-world collecting passion. One of the most important things to understand about the 2015 penny is how advanced the minting process had become by this time. With high-speed presses, laser-measured dies, and strict quality control protocols designed to minimize mistakes. And paradoxically, this makes any genuine mint error far more valuable than similar mistakes on older coins, because each error represents a rare failure in a system engineered for near perfection, and collectors pay enormous premiums for evidence that even the most modern systems are not infallible. During 2015, billions of 1-cent coins were struck, and while that number sounds overwhelming, it actually narrows the field when it comes to true collectible errors, because out of billions of coins, only a microscopic fraction escape the mint with dramatic, undeniable mistakes. And an even smaller number survive in high condition, properly authenticated, and preserved before circulation damage erases their defining features. Coin roll hunters who search through bank-wrapped rolls often report that the 2015 penny appears frequently, but what they are truly searching for are the subtle variations, the strange textures, the misaligned strikes, the doubled inscriptions, and the odd weights that hint at something extraordinary. And many collectors will tell you that the thrill of finding a rare error in a modern coin is even greater than finding an older silver coin, because it feels like uncovering a secret hidden in plain sight. Another category of errors that has generated intense interest among collectors is the off-center strike, where the coin is struck while the planchet is not properly seated, resulting in part of the design missing and blank metal visible along one edge. And when the date, 2015, remains fully visible on an off-center penny, the value can increase dramatically, especially if the error is visually bold and symmetrical enough to be immediately recognizable even to a non-collector. There are also cases of rotated die errors, where the obverse and reverse of the coin are not aligned correctly, meaning when the coin is flipped vertically, the reverse appears rotated at an unusual angle. And while minor rotations are common and not especially valuable, extreme rotations can attract strong premiums, particularly when combined with other errors such as die cracks or weak strikes. Weak strikes themselves form another layer of intrigue, especially on the Union Shield reverse, where incomplete metal flow can cause the vertical stripes or lettering to appear faded or partially missing. And while weak strikes alone are not always valuable, when they occur due to improperly prepared dies or planchets, they can add to the overall narrative of a coin's journey through the minting process. The question of market value always comes back to supply and demand. And while claims of a 2015 penny being worth $185 million sound sensational, it is important to understand how such figures are sometimes discussed within the high-end collectibles world, where theoretical valuations are used to describe what something could be worth under perfect circumstances rather than what it has already sold for. And in rare cases, those theoretical values become real when the right buyer meets the right object at the right moment. In elite collecting circles, particularly among institutional buyers, museums, and ultra-high net worth individuals, uniqueness carries immense weight, and a coin that is proven to be one of a kind, especially from a modern era where documentation is strong, can cross into a completely different category of asset, one that is no longer compared to other coins but to fine art, rare stamps, or historical manuscripts. If a 2015 penny were discovered with a combination of unprecedented errors, such as a wrong metal strike, dramatic doubled die, and confirmed mint documentation linking it to a specific production anomaly, its value would not be determined by price guides, but by private negotiation, auction dynamics, and the symbolic importance attached to it. And this is how values that seem impossible on paper begin to make sense within a specific context. The role of third-party grading companies cannot be overstated in this process, because certification transforms a coin from an interesting object into a recognized asset with a documented identity, population data, and condition. Assessment that allows buyers to compare, compete, and invest with confidence. And for modern coins like the 2015 penny, certification is often the deciding factor between a curiosity and a serious financial instrument. Social media has also reshaped the way modern coins gain fame. And a single viral video showcasing a rare 2015 penny error can instantly create global demand, with collectors rushing to search their own change, driving up prices for similar examples, and reinforcing the idea that modern coins are not immune to hype, speculation, and rapid market shifts. This phenomenon has already been seen with other modern issues, where coins once considered ordinary suddenly explode in popularity due to a handful of high-profile discoveries. And the 2015 penny sits in that same environment, where perception can change overnight and values can move dramatically based on new information. Historically, many of the most valuable coins in the world were once everyday currency, ignored for decades before their rarity and significance were fully understood, and the 2015 penny may follow a similar path, especially as fewer people use cash and fewer pennies circulate, making untouched examples harder to find with each passing year. As circulation decreases, survival rates in high condition drop, and coins that were once common become scarce in their original state. And when combined with errors, this scarcity compounds, creating a perfect storm for long-term appreciation. The emotional connection collectors feel toward the Lincoln cent also plays a role, because Lincoln is not just a historical figure, but a cultural icon. And coins bearing his image carry symbolic weight that transcends metal content, tying personal collections to national history in a tangible way. When you hold a 2015 penny in your hand, you are holding a product of modern America, minted during a time of technological acceleration, political debate, and economic transformation, and every scratch, every flaw, every unusual mark tells part of that story, whether intentional or accidental. As the story continues, it becomes even more important to understand how the psychology of collectors transforms a simple 2015 1-cent coin into something that feels powerful, desirable, and in some cases almost mythical, because the market for modern-era coins is driven not only by rarity, but by imagination, competition, and the human desire to own something that no one else has. And this psychological element often matters just as much as metal, weight, or mint statistics. Many serious collectors will tell you that the moment they find an unusual 2015 penny, the first reaction is disbelief, because modern coins are assumed to be perfect, mass-produced, and uninteresting. And when that assumption is broken by a clear and undeniable error, the coin immediately feels special, as if it has slipped through time carrying a secret meant only for the person who discovered it. This sense of discovery fuels a cycle of attention, where photos are shared online, experts are consulted, and speculation begins. And in this early phase, the story around the coin often grows faster than the coin itself, with discussions about possible causes, rarity, and hypothetical value spreading across forums, social media, and private collector groups. The 2015 penny is particularly well suited to this phenomenon because it exists in a digital age, where every discovery can be documented instantly, and this documentation creates a permanent record that adds legitimacy and narrative depth to the coin, making it easier for future buyers to trust its authenticity and significance. Another factor that pushes modern coins like the 2015 cent into the spotlight is the shrinking number of people who handle physical money. Because as digital payments become dominant, fewer coins circulate, fewer are examined closely, and fewer errors are discovered, which means that every new find feels more important, more urgent, and more valuable. In this context, even relatively minor errors can take on amplified importance, especially when they appear on a popular series like the Lincoln cent. And when collectors begin to assemble sets of modern-era coins, the competition to own the best example intensifies, driving prices higher than anyone would have predicted a decade earlier. The idea of a 2015 penny being associated with a valuation as high as $185 million taps into this psychology perfectly because it represents the ultimate collector fantasy, the notion that something overlooked, something almost worthless, could transform into a life-changing discovery. And while such valuations remain theoretical, they serve as powerful motivation for collectors to keep searching, learning, and sharing their finds. From a historical perspective, it is worth remembering that many coins now considered priceless were once dismissed as trivial or even ugly, and only later did scholars and collectors recognize their importance. And the same process may be unfolding with modern coins like the 2015 penny, which future generations may study as artifacts of a transitional era in American money. The design of the 2015 penny itself contributes to this future potential, because the Union Shield reverse marks a return to a strong national symbol after years of commemorative reverses. And this design choice reflects a moment in time when the mint sought to balance tradition with modern identity, making the coin historically meaningful beyond its face value. Errors that disrupt this clean, symbolic design stand out even more dramatically, turning the shield into something fractured, doubled, or incomplete. And these visual disruptions can be interpreted as accidental artworks, unique expressions created by mechanical failure rather than human intention. Some collectors view these error coins as a form of industrial art, where the minting process itself becomes the artist. And the 2015 penny, with its sharp lines and modern production methods, provides a perfect canvas for this kind of accidental creativity. When such a coin is preserved in high condition, free from circulation wear, it captures a precise moment in the mint's operation, frozen forever in metal, and this sense of permanence adds to its appeal as both a collectible and a historical record. The role of timing and discovery cannot be ignored either, because coins found closer to their year of issue are more likely to be preserved in better condition, and many of the most valuable modern errors were discovered relatively soon after release, before heavy circulation damage could occur. As time passes, the window for discovering pristine 2015 penny errors narrows, and this scarcity over time can have a powerful effect on market value, especially when combined with strong demand and limited supply. Another element that elevates certain coins is provenance, the documented history of ownership. And if a 2015 penny error were traced back to a specific discovery story, such as being found in a sealed mint bag, a government facility, or an unusual distribution channel, that story alone could add significant value, transforming the coin into a documented piece of modern numismatic history. Provenance also adds emotional weight, connecting the coin to real people, places, and moments. And in the high-end market, this emotional connection often translates directly into higher prices, as collectors are not just buying metal but buying a story they can retell and pass down. When discussing extreme valuations, it is also important to understand the role of private sales, which often occur away from public auctions and price guides. And in these private transactions, confidentiality, prestige, and exclusivity can push prices far beyond what the public market might support. In such cases, the value of a coin becomes a reflection of the buyer's identity, taste, and ambition. And a unique modern coin, like an extraordinary 2015 penny error, could serve as a statement piece, symbolizing insight, patience, and the ability to recognize value where others see none. As the narrative of the 2015 1-cent coin continues to evolve, it remains a powerful reminder that history is still being made, that modern objects can become future treasures, and that value is not fixed but created through time, attention, and belief. And so the 2015 penny remains suspended between the everyday and the extraordinary, between pocket change and potential legend, inviting anyone who encounters it to look a little closer, question assumptions, and imagine the possibilities hidden within a single, seemingly ordinary cent. As we move even further into the story, the 2015 1-cent coin begins to reveal how deeply intertwined modern numismatics has become with economics, technology, and cultural shifts. Because a coin is never just a piece of metal, it is a snapshot of the world at the moment it was created. And the conditions surrounding the minting of the 2015 penny tell us a great deal about its long-term potential and why collectors continue to watch it so closely. In BY 2015, the United States Mint was under constant pressure to reduce costs, increase efficiency, and maintain quality, all while producing billions of coins for circulation. And this pressure creates an environment where rare errors are not just accidents, but symptoms of a complex industrial process operating at massive scale, and every such error becomes a clue to how that system functioned at a particular point in time. The penny itself had become controversial by this period, with debates over its usefulness, cost of production, and environmental impact gaining traction. And whenever a denomination faces possible elimination or major change, coins from that era often gain historical significance later because they represent the final chapters of a long monetary tradition. Collectors are keenly aware of this pattern, and many see the 2015 penny as part of a broader narrative about the future of physical currency, making any unusual example from this year more than just a curiosity, but a potential artifact of a disappearing way of life. Another aspect that adds depth to the 2015 penny story is the global nature of modern collecting, because unlike earlier eras when coin collecting was largely regional, today a rare error discovered in one country can instantly attract interest from collectors around the world, and this global demand dramatically expands the potential market that a collector in Asia, Europe, or the Middle East can compete directly with American buyers for a rare 2015 penny. And this international competition can drive prices far beyond what local demand alone would support, especially when the coin is seen as emblematic of American history or culture. This global reach also fuels speculation, because stories of extraordinary valuations travel fast, inspiring new collectors to enter the hobby. And while speculation can create volatility, it also injects energy and attention into the market, ensuring that modern coins like the 2015 penny remain relevant and actively discussed. Technological advances in authentication and grading further enhance this dynamic, because modern imaging, metal analysis, and die state tracking allow experts to identify and document errors with unprecedented precision, reducing uncertainty and increasing buyer confidence. For a 2015 penny with a significant error, this means its characteristics can be analyzed, compared, and verified down to microscopic details, creating a digital fingerprint that follows the coin throughout its life in the market. And this level of documentation adds substantial value. Collectors also pay close attention to patterns, and when multiple examples of a similar error are discovered, it can indicate a specific die or production run. But when only a single example emerges, the perception of uniqueness becomes even stronger, and uniqueness is one of the most powerful drivers of value in any collectible field. The idea of a one-of-one 2015 penny error is particularly compelling because it contradicts the very concept of mass production, turning an industrial product into a singular object. And this contradiction lies at the heart of why modern error coins are so fascinating. Economic factors also play a role, because during periods of uncertainty or inflation, tangible assets often attract increased interest, and coins, with their combination of historical value and physical presence, can become attractive alternatives to purely digital investments. While the penny itself contains very little intrinsic metal value, the collector value attached to a rare 2015 error coin is entirely symbolic, and symbolic value can sometimes be more powerful and more volatile than intrinsic value, capable of rising dramatically when conditions align. The cultural symbolism of the penny also cannot be ignored, because phrases like "a penny saved" and "pennies from heaven" are deeply embedded in the American consciousness. And this cultural familiarity makes the penny an emotionally resonant object, even for people who are not traditional collectors. When an emotionally resonant object becomes rare or unique, it gains an added layer of desirability. And this is why stories of extraordinary penny values capture public imagination so effectively. The 2015 penny, sitting at the intersection of tradition and modernity, embodies this emotional tension, representing both continuity and change. And errors that disrupt its familiar appearance make that tension visible in metal. Collectors often describe their fascination with error coins as a form of storytelling, where each coin tells a story of deviation, survival, and discovery. And the 2015 penny offers countless opportunities for such stories to emerge as more time passes. fewer people will remember using pennies regularly, and the coins themselves will take on a nostalgic quality, transforming from everyday objects into reminders of a different economic era. That future context. A well-documented 2015 penny error could be seen not just as a collectible, but as a historical document, capturing the complexities of early 21st century minting, economics, and culture in a single small disc of metal. And so the narrative of the 2015 1-cent coin continues to expand, drawing in new perspectives, new collectors, and new interpretations, all of which contribute to its evolving identity and potential value, ensuring that this humble penny remains a subject of fascination, debate, and imagination far beyond its modest face value. As the discussion moves forward, the 2015 1-cent coin begins to illustrate how time itself is one of the most powerful forces in numismatics, because value is rarely immediate, and many coins that are now legendary spent years or even decades being overlooked before the right combination of scarcity, awareness, and demand transform them into icons of the collecting world. For the 2015 penny, time is still working quietly in the background, as coins are lost, damaged, melted, or simply forgotten, reducing the number of surviving examples in high condition. And this slow attrition is especially important for modern copper-plated zinc cents, which are far more vulnerable to corrosion and deterioration than older solid copper coins. As zinc-based pennies age, the thin copper plating can crack or fail, exposing the zinc core to moisture and air, leading to swelling, bubbling, and surface disruption. And while this kind of damage is usually considered post-mint and not collectible, it highlights how fragile modern cents are and how rare it will be to find pristine examples decades from now. This fragility means that any 2015 penny error preserved in near-perfect condition becomes increasingly special with each passing year, because it represents not only a minting anomaly, but also a survivor of a vulnerable material system. And survival is a key component of rarity. Collectors often compare this process to natural selection, where only the strongest or luckiest examples endure, and over time, these survivors become the foundation of serious collections and museum holdings. Another important factor is the gradual refinement of knowledge, because as experts study modern era coins more closely, new classifications, terminology, and valuation frameworks emerge, allowing collectors to better understand what makes certain errors more important than others. What may initially appear to be a minor variation on a 2015 penny could later be reclassified as a significant die variety or production anomaly once enough data is gathered. And when this happens, early examples can experience dramatic increases in value. This evolving understanding is part of what makes modern numismatics dynamic, because the story is still being written, and collectors today are actively shaping the historical record that future scholars will rely on. The influence of major auctions also plays a crucial role, because when a modern era coin achieves a record price at auction, it resets expectations across the entire market, and suddenly similar coins are viewed through a new lens of possibility. Even if the 2015 penny has not yet reached such a public milestone, the groundwork is being laid through private sales, growing interest, and increasing documentation, all of which contribute to a sense of anticipation. Another layer of intrigue comes from the intersection of modern coins and wealth preservation, as some investors look beyond traditional assets and explore collectibles as a way to diversify. And while coins are a niche market, truly rare examples can attract serious capital. In this environment, a unique or nearly unique 2015 penny error could be viewed not just as a hobby item, but as a long-term store of value, especially if accompanied by strong documentation and professional certification. The idea of a $185 million valuation, while extreme, reflects how collectors and investors think in terms of ceilings rather than averages, imagining the maximum potential under ideal conditions. And this mindset influences how people search for, preserve, and promote their discoveries. The human element remains central throughout all of this, because behind every rare coin is a story of someone who noticed something others ignored, who took the time to learn, to ask questions, and to seek expert opinions. And these personal stories add depth and meaning that pure data cannot capture. A 2015 penny found in pocket change, recognized as unusual, and preserved instead of spent, carries a narrative of curiosity and awareness, and such narratives resonate strongly within the collecting community as the years go by. These stories accumulate, creating a rich tapestry of modern numismatic history, where the 2015 penny occupies a growing and increasingly respected place. The broader cultural shift away from cash also amplifies this effect, because as physical coins become less common, the act of collecting them feels more deliberate and meaningful, almost like an act of preservation against forgetting. In that sense, collecting a 2015 penny error is not just about potential financial gain, but about participating in the preservation of material culture, holding on to something tangible in an increasingly digital world. This perspective helps explain why interest in modern coins continues to grow, even as their everyday use declines, and why the stories around them become more compelling with time. The 2015 1-cent coin, modest in appearance yet rich in possibility, embodies this paradox perfectly, reminding us that value is not always measured in immediate usefulness, but in significance, rarity, and the stories we choose to tell about the objects we keep. And as time continues its quiet work, the full legacy of the 2015 penny has yet to be revealed, leaving open the possibility that what is now considered ordinary may one day be remembered as extraordinary, a small copper-colored witness to a changing world. As the narrative deepens even further, the 2015 1-cent coin begins to show how education and awareness shape the destiny of modern collectibles, because a coin can only become valuable if people understand what they are looking at, and the rise of online education, videos, and collector communities has transformed ordinary individuals into informed hunters capable of recognizing extraordinary details. In earlier generations, many rare coins were lost simply because no one knew they were special, but today a person finding a 2015 penny with an unusual appearance can instantly compare it with verified examples, consult experts, and share images with thousands of knowledgeable collectors. And this collective intelligence dramatically increases the chances that significant errors are identified and preserved. This shared knowledge creates feedback loops, where discoveries lead to discussions, discussions lead to classifications, and classifications lead to demand. And the 2015 penny exists squarely within this ecosystem, benefiting from constant attention and analysis. Another important element is the role of patience, because not every unusual 2015 penny is immediately recognized as valuable, and some sit quietly in collections for years before their true importance becomes clear. And this delayed recognition can result in sudden revaluations that surprise even seasoned collectors. Patience also applies to the market itself, because values often rise in waves rather than steadily, with periods of relative calm followed by sudden spikes driven by new discoveries, media attention, or shifts in collector sentiment. Modern collectors understand this pattern, and many deliberately hold on to unusual coins like 2015 penny errors, not to sell immediately, but to wait for the moment when awareness and demand align. The condition of the coin remains a constant concern throughout this waiting period, because modern scents are delicate and improper storage can destroy value over time. And this awareness has led to better preservation practices, including inert holders, controlled environments, and professional grading. When a 2015 penny is properly preserved and certified, it gains a kind of permanence, becoming resistant to the gradual decay that claims so many unprotected examples, and this permanence reinforces its status as a serious collectible. Another fascinating aspect of modern era collecting is the emotional bond that forms between the finder and the coin, because unlike inherited or purchased items, a discovered coin carries the memory of the moment it was found, the excitement of realization, and the satisfaction of personal discovery. This emotional bond often leads collectors to hold onto coins longer than they might otherwise, reducing supply in the market and increasing scarcity, especially for unique or visually dramatic 2015 penny errors. Scarcity, in turn, reinforces value, creating a self-reinforcing cycle where rarity and emotional attachment work together to elevate the coin's status. The broader economic environment also influences how people view collectibles, and in times of uncertainty, tangible objects with historical significance can feel reassuring, offering a sense of stability and continuity, while a penny may seem insignificant in everyday transactions. A rare 2015 penny error can represent a tangible link to national history, industrial processes, and cultural identity, making it appealing on levels far beyond its monetary denomination. The concept of legacy also comes into play, as collectors often think about what they will pass on to future generations, and a rare modern coin with a compelling story can serve as both a financial and educational inheritance. In this way, the 2015 penny becomes more than an object of trade, becoming a teaching tool, a conversation piece, and a symbol of curiosity and attentiveness. The idea of extreme valuations continues to hover over this narrative, not as guaranteed outcomes, but as possibilities that shape behavior, encouraging careful examination of every coin and reinforcing the belief that extraordinary value can emerge from ordinary circumstances. This belief keeps the community engaged, searching, learning, and sharing, and it ensures that coins like the 2015 1 cent remain relevant long after they disappear from everyday US. As knowledge deepens and communities grow, the story of the 2015 penny becomes richer and more complex, reflecting not just the coin itself, but the people who study it, collect it, and imagine its future. And so the journey of the 2015 1 cent coin continues, driven by curiosity, patience, and the enduring human fascination with finding hidden meaning and value in the smallest details, a journey that shows no sign of ending anytime soon. As the exploration continues, the 2015 1 cent coin increasingly reflects how modern numismatics is shaped by storytelling as much as by statistics, because every coin that captures attention does so not only through rarity, but through the narrative built around it. And in the case of the 2015 penny, that narrative is still unfolding in real time. Stories of discovery circulate through collector communities, where a single photograph of an unusual coin can spark days or even weeks of analysis, debate, and speculation, and these conversations themselves become part of the coin's history, adding layers of meaning that go far beyond its physical characteristics. In this environment, the difference between an ordinary error and a legendary one often lies in visibility, because the more a coin is discussed, documented, and shared, the more it becomes anchored in the collective memory of the hobby. And the 2015 penny benefits from being part of an era where nothing truly disappears from the digital record. Documentation is power in modern collecting, and a well-documented 2015 penny error, with clear images, expert opinions, and a traceable timeline, carries a level of credibility that earlier generations of collectors could only dream of, and this credibility translates directly into trust and value. Trust is especially important when discussing extraordinary valuations, because the higher the potential value, the higher the standards of proof, and modern tools make it possible to meet those standards in ways that were impossible just a few decades ago. Another important dimension is competition, because as more collectors become aware of modern errors, the competition to find, own, and display the best examples intensifies, and competition is one of the strongest drivers of price escalation in any collectible market. The 2015 penny sits at the center of this competitive landscape, not because it is inherently rare in its standard form, but because its errors are unpredictable, unique, and often visually striking, making them ideal targets for collectors seeking distinction. For some collectors, owning a remarkable 2015 penny error is about more than money. It is about identity, about being known within the community as the person who found or owns something truly special. And this desire for recognition can motivate buyers to pay premiums that outsiders find hard to understand. The intersection of pride, curiosity, and ambition creates a powerful force, one that can elevate certain coins far beyond their expected value range. And the penny, humble as it may seem, is not immune to this effect. The cultural symbolism of Abraham Lincoln also continues to amplify interest, because Lincoln represents ideals of perseverance, unity, and moral strength, and coins bearing his image carry an emotional resonance that persists across generations. When an error distorts that familiar image, it captures attention instantly, creating a sense of disruption that invites closer inspection. And this visual impact is a key reason why certain 2015 penny errors become focal points of discussion and desire. Looking ahead, the future of the 2015 penny will likely be shaped by how the broader numismatic community chooses to categorize and interpret modern errors, and as scholarship advances. Some coins may be elevated in status while others fade into obscurity. This process of selection is not purely objective, but influenced by trends, personalities, and moments of collective focus. And being part of that process gives modern collectors a sense of participation in history rather than mere observation. The notion of future rediscovery also adds intrigue, because coins that seem well understood today may be reevaluated tomorrow in light of new information. And a 2015 penny sitting quietly in a collection could suddenly gain prominence due to a newly recognized die variety or production anomaly. This unpredictability keeps the hobby alive and dynamic, ensuring that modern coins remain as exciting to study as ancient ones. Even if their materials and methods differ dramatically, as technology continues to evolve, tools like artificial intelligence, advanced imaging, and data analysis may uncover patterns and connections that were previously invisible, shedding new light on the minting of coins like the 2015 penny and revealing stories yet untold. In this sense, the 2015 1-cent coin is not a finished chapter, but an open book, inviting ongoing exploration, reinterpretation, and imagination. And as collectors, researchers, and enthusiasts continue to engage with it, the penny's journey from everyday change to potential historical artifact continues, driven by curiosity, competition, and the timeless human desire to find meaning and value in even the smallest objects. As the narrative flows onward, the 2015 1-cent coin increasingly stands as a mirror reflecting how society assigns meaning to objects. Because value is never fixed, it is negotiated over time through attention, belief, and shared understanding, and the penny, despite its simplicity, provides a powerful case study of this process in action. The act of searching for unusual coins itself becomes a form of meditation for many collectors, a slow and careful practice that contrasts sharply with the speed of modern life. And in this quiet focus, the 2015 penny takes on a new role, transforming from spare change into an object worthy of patience and respect. This change in perspective is crucial because it teaches collectors to look beyond surface impressions, to question assumptions, and to appreciate subtle differences, skills that extend far beyond numismatics and into everyday decision-making. The stories that form around coins like the 2015 penny often emphasize this lesson, celebrating attentiveness and curiosity as virtues that can uncover hidden value where others see none. As these stories spread, they inspire new generations of collectors, many of whom begin their journey with modern coins because they are accessible, familiar, and abundant, and the penny, as the smallest unit of currency, becomes a gateway into a deeper appreciation of history and material culture. The accessibility of the 2015 penny also democratizes collecting because anyone can participate, regardless of wealth. And this inclusivity adds to the emotional power of the narrative, reinforcing the idea that extraordinary discoveries are not reserved for elites, but are open to anyone willing to look closely. In this way, the 2015 penny embodies a kind of quiet optimism, suggesting that opportunity can exist even in overlooked places, a message that resonates strongly in uncertain times. The ongoing debate about the penny's future only intensifies this symbolism, because as people question whether the cent should continue to exist, each surviving example gains a little more significance as a representative of a fading institution. When future collectors look back at the early 21st century, they may see the 2015 penny as part of the final generation of widely circulating cents, and this historical framing could elevate its importance beyond what current markets fully recognize. Error coins from this period, in particular, may be viewed as anomalies that reveal the stresses and complexities of maintaining a traditional monetary system in a rapidly changing world. The possibility of extreme valuations, while rare, plays an important role in keeping this conversation alive because it stretches the imagination and encourages people to engage more deeply with the objects they handle every day. even if most 2015 pennies will never be worth more than face value. The few that stand out serve as symbols of potential, reminding us that rarity and significance can emerge from mass production under the right circumstances. This dynamic ensures that interest in modern coins remains vibrant, with collectors constantly balancing skepticism and hope, knowledge and imagination. The 2015 penny, small and unassuming, thrives in this tension, offering endless opportunities for discussion, discovery, and reinterpretation as the years pass. The layers of meaning attached to it will continue to accumulate, shaped by cultural shifts, technological advances, and the stories collectors choose to tell. In the end, the true value of the 2015 1-cent coin may lie not only in the prices it achieves, but in the conversations it sparks, the curiosity it nurtures, and the sense of connection it creates between people, history, and the tangible objects that pass through our hands every day. And so the journey continues, with the 2015 penny quietly carrying forward its story, waiting for the next attentive observer to notice something unusual, to ask a question, and to add another chapter to its ever-expanding legacy. As the story moves closer to its later stages, the 2015 1-cent coin begins to feel less like a single object and more like a symbol, representing how meaning accumulates over time through shared attention, memory, and interpretation. Because by now the penny is no longer just defined by its metal or its minting year, but by the countless hours of thought, discussion, and imagination that collectors have invested in this point in the journey. The 2015 penny stands as an example of how even the most common items can become focal points for deeper reflection, reminding us that history is not only preserved in grand monuments or rare artifacts, but also in everyday objects that quietly witness the flow of life. The persistence of interest in modern coins reflects a broader human tendency to seek continuity in a rapidly changing world, and the penny, with its familiar size, weight, and imagery, provides a sense of stability that resonates across generations. For collectors who focus on the 2015 penny, the act of studying and preserving it becomes a way of slowing time, of holding on to something tangible in an era increasingly defined by the intangible. The role of memory becomes especially important here, because coins carry the traces of countless transactions, movements, and moments, even if those stories are invisible. And when an error disrupts the expected form of a coin, it draws attention to these hidden journeys. A 2015 penny with an unusual strike or surface anomaly invites questions about where it has been, how it was made, and why it survived long enough to be noticed. And these questions transform the coin into a vessel of curiosity. The idea of extreme value continues to hover in the background, not as a certainty, but as a horizon that shapes behavior, encouraging careful observation and preservation, and reinforcing the belief that significance can emerge unexpectedly. In this sense, the 2015 penny functions almost like a modern myth, a story that blends fact, speculation, and hope. And myths play an important role in human culture by inspiring action and giving meaning to effort. The myth of the valuable penny motivates people to look more closely at the world around them, to question assumptions, and to engage with history in a hands-on way. And this engagement enriches both the individual and the community as collectors share their finds and their stories. A collective narrative forms, one that is constantly evolving and adapting to new information, and the 2015 penny becomes a shared reference point within that narrative. This shared experience strengthens the sense of community within numismatics, connecting people across distances and backgrounds through a common interest in small, overlooked objects. Looking toward the future, the long-term legacy of the 2015 penny will likely be shaped by how it is remembered and taught, both within the collecting world and beyond. And as educational resources continue to expand, modern coins may gain greater recognition as legitimate historical sources. In this context, the 2015 penny could be studied not just as a collectible, but as evidence of manufacturing practices, economic priorities, and cultural values of its time. The ongoing conversation around its potential value, including extreme hypothetical figures, keeps it in the public imagination, ensuring that it remains visible and relevant. Even skepticism plays a role here, because debate sharpens understanding and encourages deeper research, preventing the narrative from becoming stagnant. As long as people continue to talk about, study, and question the 2015 penny, it remains alive as a subject of interest, evolving with each new perspective brought to it. And so, as this chapter of the story draws nearer to a conclusion, the 2015 1-cent coin stands as a testament to the power of attention, the richness of shared curiosity, and the enduring human desire to find meaning in the smallest details, a desire that ensures its story will continue to unfold long into the future. As we arrive at the final chapter of this journey, the 2015 1-cent coin emerges not just as a piece of currency, but as a symbol of how ordinary objects can carry extraordinary stories, because through errors, preservation, discovery, and the attention of collectors, a simple penny has been elevated into a narrative that spans history, technology, and human imagination. The 2015 penny embodies the delicate balance between the mundane and the exceptional, illustrating that even something as small as a single cent can capture the fascination of thousands of people, inspire careful study, and spark conversations about value, rarity, and cultural significance. Its errors, whether doubled dies, off-center strikes, missing plating, broad strikes, or die cracks, serve as visible evidence of the minting process, transforming a mass-produced object into a unique artifact, each one carrying its own story of how production, chance, and human oversight intersected at a single moment in time. Collectors who have focused on the 2015 penny understand that value is more than monetary. It is a combination of rarity, condition, provenance, emotional connection, and historical context. Each coin tells a story of industrial precision and imperfection, of billions of ordinary coins contrasted with the rare anomalies that break the pattern and capture our attention. The narratives built around these pennies are shaped by discovery, documentation, discussion, and community, and they are constantly evolving, reflecting the dynamic and participatory nature of modern numismatics. The discussions of extreme valuations, including figures like $185 million, while speculative, highlight the potential for extraordinary significance, showing how imagination, uniqueness, and collector perception can create value that far exceeds intrinsic metal content. These ideas fuel the hunt, inspire collectors to look closer, and remind us that even in a world of mass production, one small coin can stand apart, commanding attention and sparking curiosity. The 2015 penny also stands as a cultural artifact, representing not only Lincoln's enduring legacy, but also the changing economic and technological landscape of early 21st century America. Its existence is a reflection of debates about the usefulness of the penny, production costs, and the broader shift toward digital currency. Yet, in the hands of a collector, it transforms from a disposable unit of money into a tangible connection with history, technology, and human decision-making. Looking forward, the 2015 penny will continue to evolve in significance as more errors are discovered, as more coins are preserved, and as future generations reinterpret its place in American numismatic history. Coins that were once overlooked may become legendary. Minor variations may be recast as critical anomalies, and each new discovery adds another chapter to a story that is still being written. The 2015 penny teaches us that value is not inherent but constructed, that curiosity transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary, and that even the smallest objects can hold the largest potential if we are willing to look closely enough. In conclusion, the 2015 1-cent coin, though diminutive in size, occupies a vast space in the imagination of collectors, historians, and enthusiasts. It reminds us that history is not only preserved in grand monuments or rare artifacts, but also in the tiny, everyday objects that we often overlook. It demonstrates the intersection of chance, craftsmanship, technology, and human attention, and it offers a timeless lesson. That significance is often hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice, to care, and to preserve. And so the journey of the 2015 penny, from an ordinary circulation coin to a subject of fascination, continues indefinitely, carried forward by those who recognize that even the humblest cent can tell stories worth millions, inspire discovery, and stand as a testament to the enduring human pursuit of knowledge, value, and wonder. The story does not truly end here, because every collector who picks up a 2015 penny holds the potential to write the next chapter, to discover the next error, and to transform another ordinary coin into something extraordinary, ensuring that the legacy of this small yet remarkable coin will continue to grow, captivate, and inspire for generations to come.